mail call from the United States of America. Stand by, Americans. Stand by, fighting men of the United Nations. Here's your special delivery radio letter from 132 million Americans. Everybody has a paragraph, people in the headlines and people you never heard of, but all with one purpose, to fill this mail call with the most entertainment we can send you in one radio envelope.
Hello, men. Hi-yo. This is the old Professor KYSER coming at you with the biggest letter you ever got in your whole life. It's been arranged by the Special Service Division of the War Department. Oh, we got a whole passel of stars here, and every one of them's raring to come up to this microphone and send you a paragraph of what he thinks you'd really like to hear. This letter has 132 million signatures on it, because it comes from all the Americans at home to all you Americans in the field. And no matter where you hail from, the Bronx or Biloxi, Cleveland or Klamath Falls, I think you're going to have fun opening up this letter. Why, out there in the audience, there's 1,000 servicemen on leave. But actually, you're hearing this program before they do, because it takes less time for our radio signal to reach you than it does for the sound waves to travel to our studio audience, and that's on the level. You know, we don't stand much on formality in this letter. Nobody introduces anybody. Folks just come up to say what they got to say, and right off the bat, we want you to meet that charming British songstress, the lady with the largest larynx in town. It's Miss...
Remember, Kay, no introductions.
Oh, I forgot. Anyhow, you don't need any introduction. Everybody knows Gracie Fields.
Hello, boys. Believe me, it's good to be able to include a song or two in this letter to all you fighting lads of the United Nations. Here's one that all the boys seem to go for when I'm out on camp tours. It's the story of a certain old lady who will never see 40 again, even on a clear day. And after fishing for a quarter of a century, she finally hooks a boyfriend, one Walter by name, but she's having an awful time reeling Walter in. Walter and me, we've been courting for years, but he's never asked me to wed. When leap year comes round, I give 3 hearty cheers. Hip-hip-hooray, hip-hip-hooray, hip-hip-hooray. Because I do the asking instead. I don't want to die an old maid, so I sing him this serenade. Walter, Walter, lead me to the altar. I'll make a better man of you. Walter, Walter, buy the bricks and mortar and we'll build a love nest for two. I've just been sorting out my trousseau. My bridal gown's as good as new. Walter, Walter, lead me to the altar and make all my nightmares come true. Walter, come on everybody. Walter, lead me to the altar. I don't cost much to keep in food. Walter, come on now. Walter, Mother says you ought to, so take me while she's in the mood. You know I'm very fond of chickens. We'll raise a lovely little brood. Walter, Walter, lead me to the altar and I'll show you where I'm tattooed. Stories to this letter, too. Private Wilkins was seeing real action in Libya. They'd made very good advances, and when night came, he dug in. Just before dawn, the captain called out to Wilkins' hole. How many out there, Wilkins? Not many, sir. There was one sniper poking at me all night, but I don't think there are very many behind him. The sun rose and the captain cautiously stuck his head up to take a look. Wham! The sniper's bullet hit his steel helmet. At the same time, Wilkins fired at the snipers. The officer picked himself up off his hands and knees and said, "Why, that was a close one, Wilkins. Did you get him?" "No, sir, but stick your head up again and I'll get him this time for sure." Well, this brings me round to another little song. We're all in the same boat now. Oh, we're all in the same boat now. Roll your sleeves way up high. There's a hunk of victory pie you can get with the sweat off your brow. We're all in the front lines now, in a plane or behind a plow. We're a great fighting crew. I'm in this the same as you. Oh, we're all in the same boat now. We're teachers and bakers and Philadelphia Quakers, doctors and lawyers and sailors on destroyers, fighters and riggers and buyers, writers and diggers and flyers, nurses and cops and musicians, poets and mathematicians, shorties, lankies, dodgers, yankees, movie stars and shipping clerks, engineers and soda jerks. It's guys like us on which the world depends. Though in the past we worked toward different ends, my friends, we're all in the front lines now, in a plane or behind a plow. We're a great fighting crew. I'm in this the same as you. Oh, we're all in the same boat.
Hello, men. This is Mary Astor, adding another paragraph to your letter. I asked especially for this chance to write to you on mail call because I thought maybe you'd like to know how the women of America are behaving while you're away. Frankly, it's not much fun without you fellas around. But none of us are in this for fun. There's a war to win, and we're doing all we can. You know, you ought to see this year's crop of cuties, welding ailerons and running hydraulic hammers. The gals are really cooking. Not in kitchens, but in aircraft factories. But say, don't get the idea that every woman in the United States has grease on her nose. Women are doing other jobs, too. Working with the Red Cross, the AWVS, helping out in canteens, working in gas stations, giving the farmers a hand with their crops. And you've probably heard that there's an Army and Navy in skirts. I'm talking about the WACs and the waves. Yes, it's possible these days for women to actually enlist as members of the armed forces. They're taking the same kind of training you did, rolling out for reveille every morning at 5:45, lining up at the dispensary for shots, taking close order drill, and eating GI food. Of course, it must seem a little strange to old Army men to mosey around the barracks and see the trays in the footlockers filled with bobby pins and hair curlers and vanishing cream. And the tough sergeant who runs the supply room at the reception center must have done a terrific take the first time he had to hand out a GI brassiere. Yesterday, I hopped into a cab to get to the studio in a hurry, and I was a little surprised to see a woman at the wheel. We started talking about the war, of course, and what she said makes so much sense that I asked her to pass it on to you in this letter. Miss Marjorie Lustig, number 621 of the Yellow Cab Company.
Gee, I'm as nervous as when I picked up my first load of passengers at the Union Station.
Load of passengers?
Yes, we're operating on the share the cab system now.
Oh, really? How's it working?
Swell. One couple that met in my cab are getting married next week.
Well, that's interesting. Does it always work out that well?
No. Yesterday, the four Marx brothers got in the cab.
What happened?
I got out.
Now, suppose you tell everybody what you said to me yesterday.
Well, I figure it like this. Winning a war is like driving a cab. You can't keep driving if you're going to let the road hogs, the drunks, and the hit-and-run drivers take over. You gotta knock them out. You gotta get rid of them. And that's the way we all feel about that road hog, Hitler.
You're absolutely right, Marjorie. And thanks for coming down. And good luck, boys.
Hello, everyone. This is Kenny Baker. Well, the biggest news on Broadway this season was made by the Army. They really invaded the big street with one of the hit musicals of our time. This is the Army, with an all-soldier cast. Words and music by Irving Berlin. And I'd like to include in this letter one of the hit songs from the score. So, please find enclosed 64 bars of I'm Getting Tired So I Can Sleep. I'm getting tired so I can sleep. I want to sleep so I can dream. I want to dream so I can be with you. I've got your picture by my bed. 'Twill soon be placed beneath my head to keep me company the whole night through. For a little while, whatever befalls, I will see you smile till reveille calls. I hope you're tired enough to sleep, and please sleep long enough to dream, and look for me, for I'll be dreaming too. Out on a hike all day, dear, part of the Army grind. Weary and long the way, dear, but really I don't mind. I'm getting tired so I can sleep. I want to sleep so I can dream. I want to dream so I can be with you. I hope you're tired enough to sleep, and please sleep long enough to dream, and look for me, for I'll be dreaming.
Hello, fellas. This is Victor Moore. Victor Moore, not Victor Mature. Mature and I are alike in some ways. We both have an interest in sweater girls. He takes out the girls and I knit the sweaters. Well, anyway, what I wanted to write you boys about is, hey, what's that?
It's a bird!
Doesn't look much like a bird to me.
It's a plane!
The first time I ever saw a plane in red boots and blue woolies.
It's Superman!
Oh, Superman. Well, that explains it. Well, as I started to say, boys, Superman?
Step aside, Moore. I want to write to the boys. Well, fellows, a funny thing happened to me as I came through the wall of the studio tonight.
Gee, are you really Superman?
Why, of course. With my left hand, I can uproot giant oak trees. With my left hand, I can tear down buildings. What can you do with your left hand?
Well, after a good night's sleep, I can lift it.
Well, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, letting yourself get run down that way.
I wish you could help me.
Well, what seems to be your trouble?
I'm spineless.
Spineless?
Oh, I'm such a worm. I wasn't born. I was washed to the surface by a heavy rain.
You're just making things worse than they really are.
I've tried very hard to improve myself. I've been exercising. You know those big iron dumbbells that are so heavy?
Yes? What about them?
Well, yesterday I lifted the pamphlet that tells you how to use them.
Well, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. With a frame like yours, you should be covered with muscle.
I was once.
You were?
Yeah, a lady wrestler fell on me. I wish I was a he-man. It helped so much with the girls. Gosh, I'd like to meet Mary Astor, but I haven't got the nerve.
Where is she?
Standing over there on the other side of the stage.
I'll get her. Mr. Moore, may I present Miss Astor?
My, I'm out of breath.
Impulsive little man, isn't he?
Hello, Mr. Moore.
Oh, gee, gosh. Gee whiz.
You're kind of cute, Victor. Don't be so bashful.
Oh.
Come on, move closer to me.
No.
That's right. Come on, closer. Closer.
Oh, please, Miss Astor, don't. You'll squash these gumdrops in my pocket.
I've heard a lot about you, Vicky. Why don't you like to kiss girls?
I don't know. I guess I'm just lazy.
Well, praise the Lord and pass him some ambition.
To tell the truth, I think I could kiss you, though.
But if you've never kissed a girl before, I'd feel that it would be a calamity for me to kiss you. A disaster.
Well, then shoot the disaster to me, Astor.
You're so cute. I think I will kiss you.
Well, how are you two making out?
What do you want, Snoopy?
Just a minute more. Don't get tough with me.
I'll get just as tough as I want. I don't even think you're Superman anyway. Why, if you were really Superman, you could tear me right in two.
Well, what do you know? Mr. 5x5 is now 2.5 by 2.5.
This is Corporal Bernie Gordon of the United States Marine Corps. I just got back from Guadalcanal. I guess you've all been hearing about what's happening down there, so I won't go into that. But I'd like to include a paragraph in this letter because I know my buddies down there in the Solomons are listening like I used to listen. I know we've always wanted to know what the top songs in America were every week. I asked the Mail Corps Orchestra to play America's #1 song for some of my buddies down there. Private First Class Loyal Dawn, Corporal Ray Morris, Private Roland Hepler, and all the rest of you fellows wherever you are. Here it is, White Christmas.
Well, hello again, guys. This is Kay Kaiser coming back for a postscript. I've been trying to listen to the letter, but every time I relaxed, someone else came over and pleaded with me to ask him some questions. So here we go. And I'd like to have you hear how the gang does. So listen in. Okay, students?
Okay, gang.
Students, tonight we have a few young scholars who have expressed a desire to matriculate in this institution. Class will come to order. First, we have, what is your name, little girl?
Gracie Fields.
Oh, how old are you, Gracie?
18.
Well, you pardon my saying so, but you really look about 32.
Well, if you'll come down a little, I'll come up a little.
Well, since you're up for examination, Miss Fields, I assume you're musically inclined.
Oh, I should say so, what? I'm a regular virtuoso. I play the piano with my feet.
With your feet? Well, what do you do with your hands?
Hold them over my ears. I can't stand it.
Very well. And now we'll see just how much you do know about music. Identify the song the orchestra is going to play. Hit it, boys.
Don't tell me. It's just terribly familiar. I'm sure I've got it. That's the Girdle song.
The Girdle song?
I don't want to walk without you, baby.
Well, that lets you out. But never mind, Gracie. There's a little boy over there with his hand up. Sonny, would you like to answer the question?
Oh, sir.
Then why have you got your hand raised?
Are you kidding?
Say, young man, what's your name?
Victor Moore.
Where were you born?
Way back in old Chicago.
Before the fire?
No, behind the piano.
And how old are you, Victor?
How old am I now? Let's see. Chicago Fire, 1870. Johnstown Flood. Battle of Bull Run. 28.
28. You can't give me that, Victor Moore. I was at your last birthday party.
Well, weren't there 28 candles on the cake?
They were on the piece I had, yeah. But enough of that. Let's get on with your question. Boys, Well, Victor, do you know the name of that number?
Certainly.
Well, what is it?
Sweet Adeline.
Sweet Adeline. No, it's not Sweet Adeline. Take another guess.
Beat me, Daddy, with a boiled potato.
No.
Scrub me, Mama, with a salad fork.
No.
Mr. 4x4.
That's 5 by 5.
I got it wholesale.
Well, you just go and sit down, Victor, because our next little contestant is coming right up to the microphone. What is your name, young lady?
Mary Astor.
Mary Astor? The movie star? Oh, gee. Gosh. Oh.
What's the matter with you?
You're stepping on my foot. But this is wonderful, being so close to someone like you. Someone so lovely and beautiful and glamorous.
You like women, I gather.
I like women anybody gathers. We want you to identify. Young man, will you come over here and hum a tune for Miss Astor?
Why, yes, sir.
Well, thank you. By the way, what's your name?
Kenneth L. Baker.
Why, we all know you as Kenny Baker. Why don't you get the L out of there?
Please, watch your language, son.
All right, Father. Sing the song for Miss Astor.
Why, certainly. Dee-dee-ah-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Now, don't tell me. Smoke gets in your... Don't tell me.
May I give her a little hint?
Why, of course.
Sweet Adeline.
No, it's not Sweet Adeline. I'd know Sweet Adeline any time. I hear it so often.
How come?
I live next door to W.C. Fields.
I think you'd better sing it again, Kenny.
Why, yes, sir.
Now, let's see. I know that song. I heard it just last night. Oh, of course. Smoke gets in your eye.
Not I. It's eyes. Both eyes.
I know, but it was sung by Veronica Lake.
Say, look, Mr. KYSER, if you won't need me anymore, I'd like to run along. It's rather important.
What's so important?
Well, I've got to see my brother. He's riding in a 6-day bicycle race.
Kenny, that was over 2 weeks ago.
I know. I want to tell him.
All right, run along, Kenny. Now, our next student is Mr. Moore. Say, Mr. Moore, see if you can identify this popular tune, please.
I lost my pants at the stage door canteen.
Listen, you mean you lost your heart?
No, my pants. I gave my suspenders to the rubber drive.
We're going to give you another chance now. Here's one you can't miss.
Yeah, that's more like it. Now we're getting down to music. I've been waiting for this one all evening.
Well, what's the title of it?
My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean.
Class dismissed. Well, it's time to fold up the music stands and pull out the mic plug, gang. We've got to disconnect this letter from home. But you'll be hearing another mail call along about this time next week with another half-hour envelope full of fun and entertainment. Meanwhile, there's 132 million people who want to join with us in signing this letter. With the best of luck, and so long, everybody.
Gracie Fields, Kay KYSER, Mary Astor, Victor Moore, Kenny Baker, the Mail Call Orchestra, and yours truly, Ken Carpenter, have joined in Mail Call. This program is arranged with the cooperation of the Hollywood Victory Committee. Another Mail Call will be coming your way next time you hear... Mail Call is produced for the men of the Armed Forces of the United Nations by the Special Service Division of the War Department of the United States of America. This program has been a part of our English language shortwave service.